Okay, this is part 2 of my experiences on BNN. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about how it works. I'm not going to give away any trade secrets, I don't think, from how BNN works. But it's kind of interesting how it works, I think, if you're not in the business. So I thought it was interesting when I didn't know when I first went on. Like my first show, I literally had no idea what was going to happen. Like they didn't tell me what to do or nothing. They kind of mic you up and like, okay, go out there, sit down, and talk to this guy. And I'm like, okay, great. I will say, like I said in that last video, the first question is a really tough one, and it was actually a good one to start with because I just did my thing. This is exactly what I do. After I did it, I thought I did a good job. I felt good. And I go in my head, I'm like, this is exactly what I do in front of my clients. This is all this is. This is no big deal. I really settled in. I felt really quite comfortable after that. But all right, let me tell you how it works. As I said, it's a call-in show. I do not have any advanced knowledge of who's calling in or what they're going to ask me, although I do get 10 emails in advance. And it's a great idea to do it because it's a bit of a backup. Like, the phone could be ringing off the hook. I mean, they could have tons of callers, but you never know. Whatever, maybe there's a snowstorm that day or whatever, and people just aren't calling in. Who knows? Maybe they just don't like me that day or something. Who knows? So they got these 10 backups, and I do get to think about them in advance, and they might not ask me though. Like, I mean, they're there as prepared backup. No, excuse me one second. And it's good. I like it, and it makes me feel more comfortable that I've had a bit of time. It's usually only like a week before though, so I don't have, and I'm still doing my other job, so I can only do so much. But I get those done. It's great. I have to. I would do a little write-up on what I think about the market too, which I don't always love doing that one because what I like to do is look at companies. I don't like to look at the the whole market. I always have something in my head, but I'm more of a company by company guy, so that's where I focus. But anyway. So I get the 10 in advance, and then I show up to the show, and I literally have no idea what they're going to ask me. Now, they do give me a little bit of advance in the commercial break. So they get right on there as soon as I go to commercial, boom, it's in my ear. I got an earpiece, and they say, do you know Enbridge? And I just got to go, yep, or no. And I don't even say anything. I just got to do that. And yep, yeah. No, yeah, whatever. And most of the time I know the companies, I know them, and I just, yep. I take every single call if I know the company. Even if it's a bad one. If I don't like the company, I'm going to take it. Because I don't want to go on there and look like I'm a perma bull and I love every single company that everybody calls in. I don't want that. I just want to give, my honest answer, my straightforward answer to every company. So that's what I do. Now, if it's like I never heard of it, or I have to say no, I'm not gonna. Even though I do have my software there, so it does help me. But I know some of these guys call in. They call about some tiny little mining company, and our software. It doesn't do. You shouldn't be using our software to analyze a tiny mining company. You need to go and figure out how much gold they got in the ground there, or something, right? So it's just not the right thing to do. So turning it down is the right thing to do. Okay, so we get all those. I want to talk about a few mistakes I've made on the show. One time, most people tell you the name of the company, they don't tell you the ticker. And the producer doesn't tell you even. So I know a lot of the tickers just off by heart. And one time I just messed up a ticker, and it was so bizarre because I was like, I'm looking at the company in my software. And I know the company, but it just wasn't matching what I was expecting. And I do these things all the time, so I know what companies look like. It's nice to have it in front of me though, so I can refer to it, and it feels more comfortable. But this one just didn't match, and I was like, I thought it was, I don't remember the exact scenario, but I'll say stuff like, oh, return on capital is improving. I love to see that, and I was expecting to see that, and it went down or something, and I was like, what the heck? And I had to go with what was on the screen, but I was talking about the wrong company. I just got it wrong. I was like, oh my god, that was bad. I looked it up after, and I was like, I put in the wrong ticker, and I was on TV, and I just did. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Maybe BNN watches this, they won't call me back. But it happens very rarely. I mean, it was like 1 out of 100, I think I did. Now, I did have one other mistake that I'm quite embarrassed about, and I hate it. I can't change it. I was asked about General Dynamics, and it's a good company, and I loved it. I think it was one of my top picks, actually. And it screens really well. It was, especially at the time. Not quite as good right now, but anyway. And it's a information technology company. They provide information technology to the military. So in the tanks and in the aircraft and on ships and stuff like that. And they're really, really high tech, like military software. You can imagine how sophisticated it is. Well, I really thought that's all they did. And I don't know why I missed this, but they actually make the Abrams tank as well. And I thought they just did the hardware, software, the computer component of it only. I was dead wrong. They do the whole tank. So I don't know how I missed it, but I did. And right off when the company came up, the host, again, it was Andrew Bell, and Andrew Bell says, "Oh, this General Dynamics, great company. This is a company that makes the Abrams tank, right?" And right away I just kind of went, no, they don't make the tank. They do the software, and as I said in other videos, you got to be really diplomatic about it. So I'm trying to say, no, I think you're mistaken. They just turned out I was the one that was wrong. They do the Abrams tank. Now they certainly do all the software and all the other stuff that I said they did, and they do the for the planes and the ships as well. I just didn't know they did the tank, the actual physical tank, the whole tank. So here I am correcting the host, who was right. I made him look bad. Really, it was my own mistake. So I felt like after I looked it up, I could be wrong. Maybe I made a mistake. Now look, it happens. I look at hundreds of companies. I stick to my software. I do know a lot about a lot of companies, but every once in a while you make a mistake. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, so just to wrap this up, I think it's an amazing production though. Like, I find it fascinating when I go in there. The first time I went in, I walk out and my phone's going berserk, and everyone's saying, "Hey, I saw you on TV. You did a great job," and I felt really great. It was awesome. But it's such an amazing production. Like, I walk out of the studio and I can literally get on my phone and post it to social media like right away. I'm like, how is it? It's done, and it's all parsed up into every single company I talked about. Like, as I'm walking out of the studio, I don't know how they do this, but they're obviously experts in it. I just think it's a great production. I think they do such a great job, and they do this every single day. Everything I've ever done on there is still archived, so by all means, Google, just put Matt Kaser on BNN and go watch some of them. I want you to take a good look at us before you sign up. I want you to feel comfortable. Okay, those are some of my experiences on BNN.